There is unfortunately a lot of fear out there about the risks of sunlight and sun exposure with skin cancer. However, there are actually so many benefits to getting sun exposure each day, getting sunlight, exposing yourself to sunlight. And so in this video, I want to go through the top 5 benefits of getting sunlight into your skin, into your system. And make sure you stick to the end to find out how you can effectively reap all of these rewards, all of these benefits, whilst pretty much removing any risk of skin cancer. Let's begin. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven, if you don't know me already, and this video we're going to be talking all about sunlight. In the UK, we've had our first full week of a lot of sun, and it's now May, and we've pretty much not had very much sun until now. So I'm really appreciating it, and I'm really enjoying sitting out each morning with a coffee in the sun and getting that first morning sun. And it got me thinking about what are the benefits of sun exposure, because there are so many, and it's so important that we're getting enough sunlight on us. So going straight into the first one of the biggest benefits of sun exposure is improving the health of your bones as well as your teeth. One of the more well-known benefits of sun exposure is how it gives you vitamin D, and it actually gives you quite a lot of vitamin D for little exposure. It's anywhere between 8,000 and 50,000 IUs of vitamin D for around half an hour of sun exposure, depending of course on your skin tone. So the darker the skin, the longer you need to spend outside to get enough vitamin D. Now the other benefit of vitamin D, of course, is it's going to improve and boost your immune system. So therefore sunlight has the ability to keep your immune system functioning at a higher level, which is going to mean that you're less likely to get ill or less likely to contract disease, and so keeping you strong and healthy. The third benefit, which is a super important one, particularly in our society, is how it can reduce rates of depression. And the reason why, there's quite a few reasons for this. Obviously, firstly, it's just a pleasurable thing to sit out in the sun. But one of the reasons why it is, and one of the reasons why it can really help against depression, is because it increases a hormone in your body called serotonin. This is a hormone that basically makes you feel good, and it can also give you that kind of motivation to get up and do things, which is pretty much the opposite to depression. Depression is when you feel down about something and when you don't enjoy the things that you used to enjoy. So if you are depressed, getting sunlight is such an essential part of trying to get better and trying to manage your symptoms or getting over the disease itself. Number 4, it's going to help you improve your sleep, and it does this in a number of different ways. One of them, though, is it helps set your circadian rhythm. This is basically a 24-hour clock that is inside our bodies to tell a body what time of the day it is. This is really important for sleep, because in the morning it tells us that we need to be awake and alert, and at night it tells us that we need to be sleeping. So one of the great things about sunlight is it helps set and calibrate this clock every single day. And one of the best times, therefore, to get sunlight is to get it first thing in the morning. And there's another reason why that's important I'm going to go through in later on in this video. But first thing in the morning is basically telling your body that it is daytime and that it needs to wake up. So the sunlight goes through your eyes and hits a part of the brain that tells the circadian rhythm that it is morning. And basically, if you're getting that sunlight each morning, it's going to calibrate that clock every single day to make it as accurate as possible, which means that you're going to be more alert during the day, but most importantly, when you go to bed, you're actually going to be sleepy. Now, interestingly, when you go to bed, and basically when the sunlight starts to go down, your melatonin increases, which then helps to make you feel sleepy and therefore helps you sleep. And number 5, I think, is the most surprising one, because of this association with sunlight and cancer, skin cancer. Interestingly, a moderate amount of sunlight each day actually decreases your risk of cancer, and specifically prostate, colon and breast cancer, which are some of the most common types of cancers out there. There's also been an inverse relationship shown between vitamin D and cancer levels, and there are some specific cancers that they've seen this specifically with. But generally, getting some moderate sunlight is actually going to decrease your risk of cancer and make you more healthy. It's not going to increase your risk of skin cancer. Now, the research that we have on sunlight and skin cancer is not particularly strong. However, the research that we do have is pretty much when someone has had a history of severe burns. It's usually when you're getting burned on a consistent basis that you're going to increase your risk of cancer. And that does make sense, because as you burn the skin, you actually damage the DNA cells in the skin, which have the potential, or at least increase the risk of those cells becoming cancerous. So the message here is not just to avoid the sun and stay out of it because we're scared of cancer. It's actually to get moderate amounts, but stay away from getting burns. And if we do this, we actually increase our health, and we pretty much mitigate the risk of any skin cancer. Now, how do we reap these benefits, therefore, of that I've just gone through, whilst mitigating the risk of skin cancer? Well, pretty much as I already said, it's firstly getting a moderate amount, so not spending hours and hours and hours each day in the hot sun directly, but getting a moderate amount. But it's also the time of day that you spend in the sun is important. So as I mentioned earlier, the morning is the best time of the day to get the sunlight, because it helps set your circadian rhythm, which is really important for sleep. But another reason why the morning is really important is because it is less intense. The sun is less intense at the beginning and at the end of the day. In the middle of the day, so around 11 a.m. until about 3 p.m., the sun is going to be at its highest point and most intense point. So if you're going to get burned, this is going to be the prime time. So if you are going to avoid the sun, it's better to have less sun exposure in the middle of the day and more sun exposure at the beginning and at the end, but particularly at the beginning because of how it helps to set your circadian rhythm. So that's how we can mitigate any risk of skin cancer, and how we can reap these benefits and therefore become more healthy through sunlight. Okay, so what about sunscreen? Of course, we can stay in the sun all day if we have enough sunscreen in, even in the middle of the day when the sun is most intense. Are there any problems to this? Well, firstly, the benefits, of course, of sunscreen is it's going to reduce your chances of getting burnt, which therefore is going to reduce your chances of getting skin cancer. And obviously, it's not pleasurable getting burned. And there are associations shown how not getting burnt through having sunscreen leads to less skin cancer risk. So those that wear sunscreen are less likely to get skin cancer. And that makes sense, because if you're not getting burnt, not getting that DNA damage, therefore less likely to for your cells in the skin to become cancerous. However, you do have to be aware that sunscreen doesn't come without its risks. There are a lot of sunscreens out there that come with some chemicals that have been shown to cause some issues. Now, one of them is called oxybenzone. This is a common one in sunscreen that has been shown to cause endocrine disruption. This is a disruption in your endocrine system, which is basically not great for your hormones. So you have to be aware that what you put on your skin is going to get absorbed into the skin, and that therefore can have some negative impacts. And so if you're wearing sunscreen on a regular basis all the time, this may have some issues. Now, fortunately, there are some sunscreen companies that do produce sunscreen without those harmful chemicals. So if you are going to wear sunscreen, just make sure that you're getting a more natural one rather than the cheaper chemical-ridden one. So hopefully that's inspired you to spend some time in the sun, because it is so healthy, so beneficial, and it just feels great. I personally love spending time in the sun. Now, previously I did do a video on how you can get vitamin D without sun. So like for us in the UK particularly, we don't have sun for quite some months. So, and it can be hard sometimes to keep your vitamin D levels up. If you're going to be deficient in vitamin D, it tends to be in the winter, because in the summer, you only need around half an hour of sun exposure and you pretty much got your full whack that you need. So how do you get vitamin D without the sun? Well, this is what I did a video on previously, so I highly suggest you check that out. That's going to pop up on the screen in just a second. But don't forget, as always, that if you go into the description below, you can get 10% of Vivo Barefoot shoes. These are minimalist shoes that I wear every single day. You can also get a free bag, your first free bag of XL coffee. This is an organic coffee that I have every day. You can get 10% off Athenage, which is a superfood formulated for men that I also have every day. And finally, you can get 15% off Fussy, which is a natural deodorant that doesn't have any of the harmful chemicals that I, again, use every single day. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not yet subscribed, make sure you do. Otherwise, just check out that video here on vitamin D. See you next time. Thanks for watching.